Okay, this is a Hyperlight Breaker video. More specifically, a review video because I've played the game and full stop, spoiler alert, it absolutely freaking sucks. The game is terrible. Before we even get into the video, you're like, okay, who are you? Huh? Who are you? Why are you rating the game bad? Like we don't even know who you are. You don't have a name on YouTube. You're just some guy. Yeah, okay, that's fine. You don't know who I am. You don't need to know who I am. You're here because you want a fan's honest opinion on Hyperlight Breaker. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I played Hyperlight Drifter in the past and I thought it was pretty good. It's pretty universally agreed that Hyperlight Drifter was, in fact, a very good game. Now, Hyperlight Breaker, everybody just wanted a Hyperlight Drifter 2. Instead, what the devs gave us was something that appeals more to me specifically. As somebody who plays a crap ton of roguelites, they were going to give us an open world roguelite where you have like a bunch of different weapons and a bunch of different play styles and a bunch of different bosses that you could fight out in the open world, that it rewards exploration, almost like a roguelite Fortnite in a sense, if that makes sense. I was really excited for that because that sounded like something that has never been seen in the roguelite scene before, and I play a lot of roguelites. So yeah, I was crazy excited. Unfortunately, what the devs did is they decided to delay the game for like 3+ years, and every single time that they delayed the game, they told us that they were doing it because they weren't happy with the current iteration of the game that they had in front of them. They were like, yeah, we're going to delay this because we're just not happy with the quality, and if we give it to you in this state, then we're just going to be disappointing ourselves because we know we can do better. That's what they said, and yet this game has released in the most unbelievably terrible state I have ever seen a game release, ever. Like, this game is like Goat Simulator levels of broken. And mind you, Goat Simulator is broken as a joke. This game is broken not as a joke. So if a game is not as a joke, Goat Simulator levels of broken, there's a problem. Now, I'm specifically talking about the new update that they released. The update with the big cool dragon crown boss. And I have a few things to say because I played the game on release. I gave them some time to update it, you know, fix some like compatibility / performance issues. And I also waited for their first major update, this like content update with the dragon and the new characters. And I really wanted to like this game. All I can say is that this is probably the worst game ever. And I'm going to break down why. The characters all play the same. There is literally not an ounce of difference in how the characters play. On the initial early access release of the game, the characters had somewhat diversified like passives and stuff to try to encourage different playstyles. Like the Tanaki character that I really like the aesthetic of, he had a very gun-focused playstyle, but now they, for some reason, reworked most of the passives and they all just feel kind of samey. I don't know what the hell the devs are thinking with that one, but they literally took something that was decently diversified and just made it less diversified, when the whole point of roguelites is to try to find like cool new builds and stuff to play the game differently. So no idea what they were thinking there. All the weapons play exactly the same. You pick them up and then you just run around and just mash your square button, and that pretty much works for every single weapon. The game has a parry system, but the parries suck. They're super janky. They're inconsistent. The enemies are able to chain stun you, so there's no sort of iframe, not even for a split second when you get hit by an enemy. What this means is that you get surrounded very easily, and then the enemies just absolutely chain stun you to death, and it feels super ass. They only recently added a tutorial to the game, and the tutorial is easily the most unbelievably laggy piece of shit tutorial I've ever played in my life. The crown bosses, so before there were only 2 of them in the game and no final boss, which I don't know how they delayed the game by 3 years and only gave us 2 bosses to show for it. That doesn't make sense to me. even for an early access game. Especially after how much they talked about, like, you know, not wanting to give us garbage quality. But they finally added a third boss to the game, and I was really excited because I'm not gonna lie to you, the third boss is kind of cool, kind of. His actual fight, like, you end up fighting random ads more than you actually fight the boss, but whatever. Either way, I was just excited to do something new, because the way that the game would handle the lack of bosses before is the third boss in the run, you would just fight a recycled wolf boss. So there's a wolf boss and there's like a gladiator boss. You would just have to fight the wolf boss twice. So now the cool dragon boss is in the game, but for some reason, some of your runs, you'll still have to fight the wolf boss twice instead of getting the cool new third boss, which doesn't make any sense. Because why would they make us recycle content when they could just not? Like, they literally added the content in. Why are they still making us fight the wolf boss twice? Like, that doesn't make sense, right? You have 3 bosses, so why are you making me fight one of them twice instead of just giving me the new boss? Like, what? That doesn't make sense. I tried getting footage of the third boss, but unfortunately I wasn't recording when I did fight it, and the first time that I booted up the game to try to go fight it, the game just recycled the wolf boss for me. So that was really stupid, and I don't understand why they did it like that. Now, to my knowledge, the reason why it's like that, according to some members in the Discord, is that the bosses are locked to their respective biome, but that's stupid, because even if the dragon doesn't belong to that biome, just make us fight him anyway so we don't recycle the same wolf boss twice. And the wolf boss is super janky. Like, she bugs out so much. I've seen her literally, like, teleport around the arena. I've seen her land on top of my head, like Mario style, and then, like, float down towards the ground. I've seen her do moves in the air. Like, it's so janky and terrible. The combat in general in this game is janky and terrible. It relies on this super annoying snap system where you automatically target the nearest enemy to you and you snap towards them. So you do like this mini dash towards them, and it makes it hard for you to fight enemies that are surrounding you, which they tend to do a lot in this game because you're constantly bouncing, snapping. The guns are an afterthought. So there used to be okay gun builds on the early access release when the passives were more diversified between characters, but the guns just feel terrible. They're all super weak. They're all less samey than the melee weapons, but still not super diversified. They're just not fun. And again, like, they're just an afterthought. There's really no way to play like a gun build. The guns just kind of exist, and they don't really serve much of a purpose. Everything that you could do with the guns, you could do with the melee weapons, and you probably should do it with the melee weapons, because the guns, yeah, they just suck. They're literally just good for just killing an enemy that is low health, that is slightly further away from you than your melee range, right? So yeah, I mean, the characters are all basically the same. Like, they have different skins. For some reason, they have slightly different passives. I don't know why you can't just choose your passive. But yeah, they literally all play the same. None of them have anything in their kit that makes you have to play differently. The upgrades that you can get, like the, what are they called? The hollow bites, which is basically this game's version of pick 3. Like, it presents you with 3 perks and you pick one. They're all boring. Literally none of them do anything exciting. None of them change your gameplay. None of them, like, it's all just the same, right? So you have characters that don't play differently. You have weapons that don't play differently. You have guns that don't play differently. None of the perks that you can get make you play differently. So it all just feels the same. Then they realized that their old system in early access was absolutely terrible, and they decided for this new major update to incorporate a traditional rogue-lite system. The problem with doing that is that that's what they should have done in the first place. And now we're getting it as an update 4 months later, and it's super bland and super boring and super samey and super safe. which means there's literally no reason for you to be playing Hyperlight Breaker over any other roguelite with a pick 3 system. There's just no reason. Like, there's so many other games that you could be playing right now. Like, Kyborg, or sorry, it's pronounced Keyborg, came out recently. It's super janky. It's literally like just as janky as Hyperlight Breaker, but fun because it's unique. Because they at least are going on something that a lot of people haven't done, which is a roguelite beat 'em up, where your character evolves over the course of the run, and your gameplay actually changes over the course of the run. In Breaker, nothing changes. You get slightly stronger. The perks are super boring. A lot of times they just don't do anything. And yeah, I mean, you load into the run, you get upgrades that don't do anything for making you feel stronger, making you feel different. Your stats just increase slightly. And then you go fight the same wolf boss 2 times in a row because they couldn't even be asked to make it so that you fight the cool new dragon when you spawn into the world. They had to make it so that sometimes the dragon just isn't there. It's super dumb. Not to mention, there's still no final boss, so, I mean, still not much reason to want to play the run. Like, you beat the 3rd boss, which chances are is just going to be the same recycled wolf boss that you fought as your first boss anyway, and then you leave, and then nothing happens. The meta progression, by the way, oh man, the meta progression, it is so unbelievably grindy, like so slow. Like, I recommend just using Cheat Engine for it, except don't use Cheat Engine because it's a multiplayer game and Steam can backban you for it. So I don't know how you're gonna do it, but yeah, it's just so grindy, dude. It's all tied behind this Magnum Condom resource, and I'm not saying that as a joke. The resource literally looks like Magnum condoms. Like, it's got this like golden foil with like the text in the middle. It literally looks like a Magnum condom. Your meta progression is locked behind these condoms that you can only get, by the way, when you finish a run, depending on how high level your world was, so just how much stuff you did in the world, it's going to give you a very, very low amount of condoms for how high level your world was. Now, you can find them out in the world, but they're super rare. You need stuff like keys to get to them. You have to fight really annoying encounters to get to them. And you only ever get one. And you have to pay for it too. Like, your Bright Blood resource that you used to level up, you have to go instead buy meta progression to get them. So you're better off just playing normally, not focusing too hard on it, and just letting the game give it to you after you have to reset your world. Why does this suck? Is because there's an extraction mechanic where you can go back to your hub area, but it doesn't do anything because you're not really getting enough in the world to meta progress in between extraction. Now, I don't know if that's intended, but even after you extract and or rather, even after you've completed your run, you just don't get a lot to meta progress. Like, I'm not kidding. When you play this game and you see how unbelievably hard it is to get your hands on Magnum condoms, it just sucks. You're gonna look at the skill tree and be like, wow, I have to do so much grinding to get through this for a game that isn't fun. It's super bland. It's super samey. You could literally be playing anything else, and they want you to play for obscene amounts of time to make any sort of meta progression. So yeah, I mean, all in all, Hyperlight Breaker, like, just to summarize, the bosses suck, the combat sucks, the characters are all the same, the weapons are all the same, there's nothing in the hub area. The bosses, I mean, they're all right, but, like, they're not mind-blowing. You have to fight the same recycled wolf boss multiple times. Like, they're actively just recycling content because they somehow couldn't make enough content in the 4 years that they, like, delayed the game. I don't know if you've ever seen the guy that is always in, like, their dev blogs and stuff, but he's like a bald dude with a beanie. and he's always so depressed. Every time that he talks to the camera, he just sounds upset and depressed, like he hates his job. And he's actively said that he does not like to read community feedback, because he's like, oh, well, a lot of community feedback is just like mean and toxic. It's like, well, yeah, but that's where you go to find the good feedback still. Like, even if people are jerks about it, you still have to take their feedback. And amongst some of the toxic feedback, there is going to be good feedback. Like, not everybody just hates your guts, right? If you just ignore feedback, then you end up with what this game is, which is a fucking terrible mess of a bunch of developers who clearly don't play any fucking video games whatsoever, but have an amazing art team. So the game is super presentable, really fucking pretty, but it's just absolutely terrible in terms of gameplay. It is so absolutely janky and just not fun. So this video got super ranty. I didn't want it to get like that. I wanted to actually have like order and organization, but I waited for this game for so many years. It was literally my longest wishlisted game on Steam, more than Silksong. And it just turned into a complete fucking disaster. And after their first major update, I still have absolutely no hope for this game. I actively think that the game might have even gotten worse after the first major update. Like, I'm seeing so many new bugs, so many new weird enemy AI behaviors that they didn't do before. The game is just less fun, honestly. Like, I don't know, like, it's just terrible. It's not a good roguelite. It's not a good open world game. It's pretty, but pretty isn't enough. All of that just to say, do not buy Hyper Light Breaker. Wait about a year or so, and if the game still sucks, well, still don't buy it, and tell all your friends not to buy it. And anybody that bought it recently and is thinking about trying it out, have them refund it, because the game is absolutely fucking terrible and they're going to be disappointed. If you wanted Hyper Light Breaker, or rather, if you wanted Hyper Light Drifter 2, just go look at Zward. Zwaard. It looks like Hyper Light Drifter 2 and 10 times better than this game. And if you wanted a good roguelite, well, there's literally like 10 others that I can name off the top of my head that are 10 times better.